Imagine a world where the sky turns black with fury, where the ground shudders in terror beneath our feet, and the winds howl with unprecedented force, signaling the wrath of Mother Nature. That is when the world faces its most terrible revenge. Our next journey is here. Buckle up and get ready to face this nightmare. A ferocious tornado struck Lincoln, Nebraska, like a ferocious waterspout monster. The sight was horrific. The winds twisted and turned, sucking up everything in its path. Livestock were swept away like little toys by the fury of nature, and farms were torn apart beyond recognition. The force of the destruction was terrifying, turning everything into rubble in an instant. In China, specifically in Haishui County, Aba County, Sichuan Province, a landslide occurred due to 60 millimeters of rain in just 2 hours on June 20th. A devastating tornado outbreak in Nebraska spawned a terrifying chain of tornadoes that blocked the path of multiple hurricanes. From Lincoln, Nebraska to Harlan, Iowa, these tornadoes not only struck with devastating force, but also created a haunting display of nature. Their uncontrolled destruction left a lasting mark, turning the region into a sea of storm and destruction.
All right, keep going. Slow down a little bit. It's getting strong. Really strong. Slow down. Stop. 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 Look how violent that is, Haley.
When nature was at its worst, a terrifying tornado swept across the United States, causing massive devastation and pummeling the country with heavy rain and strong winds. The violent winds swirled, destroying everything in their path, and the constant downpour of rain only added to the disaster. The scene was terrifying as nature displayed unimaginable destructive power. The craziest and most terrifying tornado in recent memory was the EF3 tornado that hit Andover, Kansas on April 29, 2022. The terrifying scene was captured in part by a Dominator drone, creating haunting images. The sound of the storm was muted so as not to frighten the faint-hearted, but the devastation caused by the tornado was unimaginable. Despite the extensive damage and the impact on nearly 1,000 structures, miraculously no one died in the storm. This proves the effectiveness and importance of the tornado warning system in protecting lives from the destructive power of nature. The tornado was like a waterspout, sucking everything it passed through into the sky, creating a terrifying scene. The fierce winds twisted, swirled, and sucked into the air all objects in its path, turning everything into debris in an instant. The scene not only made people clearly feel the destructive power of nature, but also left indescribable fear. The people here, with eyes full of horror, watched the fierce winds swirl, sucking everything up like small toys before the destruction of nature. Roofs were blown away, fields were submerged in the storm, and objects, from cars to trees, were swept away at breakneck speed. Every time the tornado twisted, every sound was muffled by its power. The people stood still, their hearts pounding in panic, They could only watch, helpless before the terrible destructive power. They felt like everything around them was being turned into debris flying into the sky, and all they could do was pray for the safety of themselves and those around them. The tornado that struck near Capitol, Montana on June 28, 2018 was a chilling sight. I still remember the image of this ferocious storm growing and spawning a series of terrifying tornadoes. These tornadoes sucked everything in their path into their violent vortex, and the Capitol tornado, the largest and most powerful of them all, was a true monster. The giant tornado roared, sweeping everything up into the sky as if it had no weight. The feeling of witnessing that scene through my own eyes made my heart beat wildly, as if standing before the uncontrollable force of nature. Nepalese people could only stand in horror as a man on a motorbike was swept away by raging floodwaters. They raced against time, trying to get him out of the water before he was completely swept away. In the terrifying scene, a brave Samaritan did not hesitate to face the raging river, brave the waves to pull the man out of danger. Floodwaters are rolling in like a giant wave, swallowing a bridge in Nepal, creating a terrifying scene that puts people living nearby in extreme danger. Landslides that sent tons of rock and dirt crashing onto roads killed at least 37 people in Colombia, sending cars crashing into ravines. Flash flooding carrying a wall of debris down Camp Creek, 31st and Valley Road footbridge. Colorado Springs, CO, August 10th. The creek is usually just a trickle, unless it rains. It runs out of the mountains above town and into a concrete channel that runs about 7 blocks. The Bagmati River, with its enormous flow, is witnessing a terrible flash flood in Nepal. Millions of cubic meters of water are rushing down, creating unimaginable destructive power. This natural disaster not only causes huge waves, but also sweeps away everything in its path, leaving the surrounding area in a state of chaos and danger. A small tornado occurred in a nearby field, sending trash and debris flying around. While the scene left many people terrified, a group of children in the nearby area were excited to see the strange sight they had never seen before. Melting snow has unleashed a devastating disaster as a massive wall of water has crashed into parts of western Nepal, causing unimaginable devastation. The ferocious sight of the torrents sweeping away everything in their path has left at least 13 people dead. The devastation is not only a painful shock, but also a revelation of the terrible power of nature. Subscribe now and let your voice be heard in the comments below. Together, let's stand against the fury of nature and pave the way for a greener, more sustainable future. Don't miss out, hit that subscribe button and join the fight today.